it's not like, what round he's going to do him in, what round. I think as soon as he hits much harder than Liam Smith. And I think
I did say the emotions got to bear me first time round. It'd be a lie saying if it didn't. When I get that win on Saturday, it'll mean a lot to me, my dad, my team. Ultimately, the family feud needs to be settled. This is the finale. This is the end.
Nigel Benn erupted at Chris Eubank Jr. during the press conference. And it wasn't just a heated exchange. It was an emotional eruption from a father defending his bloodline. His passion tore through the room as he stood up for Conor, making it clear that the Benn name still burns with pride, ferocity, and unshakable belief. Nigel dismissed Eubank Jr.'s accomplishments, questioned the strength of his pedigree.
I know my boy. He's got my DNA, but much better.
It's not even for a British level.
No. Listen.
Ben,
hold on. Let me finish.
Pedigree, and reminded everyone that Conor Benn comes from a legacy built on hunger, intensity, and warrior spirit. To Nigel, Conor isn't simply his son. He's the sharpened, more relentless evolution of the Benn fighting lineage. And Nigel didn't stop at one outburst. Moments later,
It's a different mindset, Jay. That's the good thing about it. Because he's training, he's always been an impeccable trainer. When it comes to training, I've never known anyone that trains harder than Conor.
he doubled down with an even fiercer warning, his voice trembling with conviction. The pride on his face was unmistakable as he praised Conor's discipline, mindset, and growth. This isn't the same Conor Benn who fought Eubank the first time.
I wanted a new set of eyes on this fight. I didn't want to go in there with the same kind of game plan, and we got to throw some banana skins in there. We've got to.
This is a version strengthened by experience, hardened by frustration, and refined by purpose. Every word Nigel delivered felt like a warning shot, fired straight at Chris Eubank Jr. Be ready, because this Conor is coming with intent.
I've seen in previous fight what I had with him that I say it's the confidence level that he have going into this fight.
Of course, obviously going into this fight, Eubank fought like he had a point to prove, obviously with the legacy of the fight, and then now everyone expects him kind of to win.
Eubank Jr. answered with an eerily calm tone, a calm that suggested something more dangerous lurking underneath. He's not approaching this rematch with the swagger, theatrics, or emotional bravado of before. There's calculation in his voice now, a recognition that mistakes can't.
This fight for me is a lot closer. It's not a competition. It's calm me down a little bit on the outside and not rush like he was rushing his work and all the head movement and little short steps and all this on the outside. Unnecessary.
Be repeated. With a new trainer, a new system, and a new mentality, Eubank is presenting himself as a man thinking several moves ahead. His comment about avoiding banana skins revealed a shift in approach. He's planning for chaos. He's preparing for the unpredictable.
Chris and respect to due, and I think Chris had probably given all that he had. Whereas Conor, I looked at Conor, thought, you got some more to give. My problem is you overcook it, you overthink it, and if you overthink it, what will happen is you'll make a mistake. And because if you give Chris time to breathe, to think, to box, he's going to beat you. So my advice to you, Conor...
He's aiming to strike at the precise moment, rather than overwhelm Conor with confidence alone. Even Robert Baugh, who has followed Eubank's career for years, sees the transformation. He believes Eubank Jr.
And he's brought in Bomac, one of the best trainers in the world. What does that tell you? Because he knows he's got to be better. If he's not better this time, he loses. And, he's taking it seriously, and so he should.
Enters this rematch with a composed confidence missing from their first encounter. The fact that he turned to Brian Bomac McIntyre, one of the best trainers in the world, says everything. Eubank knows he must be better. If he isn't, he loses. And by bringing in Bomac, he's signaling that he's taking this challenge.
Right, you know what's going to happen. Yeah. I'd be shocked if Eubank loses. I don't really see that happening. Again, he's fighting a career-best welterweight. He knows that. From a psychological perspective, when you know you've got a smaller guy in front of you, you kind of start 2 or 3 rounds up in your own mind. So like I say, when you look at the fight, it wasn't close enough to warrant a win for Ben. He didn't win it.
With the seriousness it demands. In their earlier fight, Boss said, Eubank was driven by pride and the weight of his family's legacy. This time it's about discipline. It's about control. It's about proving he can be more than a fighter fueled by athleticism and heart.
I think Eubank Jr., if he gets this win and there's a new lease of life maybe under Bomac, 2026, maybe finally he could become a world champion. But he's got to get past Conor Benn first. And Conor Benn, not just hungry for revenge, he believes he can win this because of what happened first time round, because he went 12 rounds at middleweight, up in class, after a long layoff. Some people...
Bob believes we may see a polished, tactical, and more dangerous version of Eubank Jr. in this rematch. Carl Froch added his veteran perspective, offering level-headed insight amid all the emotion. Froch sees this fight as far closer than their first meeting. Both men have matured. And he believes if Eubank Jr. gets the win under Bomac, 2026 could finally bring him a world title shot. But he must first get past Conor Benn. No easy task. Conor isn't just hungry for revenge. He believes he should win. He went 12 rounds last time at middle.
Like I say, the fight wasn't a letdown because it was a good fight. But as an event, you won't get a better event than that. And they'll have to go some, actually, to surpass that or even equal that. Let's just hope they get the same turnout in terms of the numbers. People going through the live gate and watching that fight, because it was a great event. There's no ifs, buts, or maybes. You won't get world title fights that actually are a better
middleweight. Up in weight, after a long layoff, many thought he might pull off the upset even then. Conor learned from pushing too hard, too early. Eubank learned from believing he was untouchable. Froch hinted that composure will be the deciding factor. If Conor manages his pace and stays balanced, he keeps the fight competitive. If emotion takes over, Eubank's experience and ring IQ could take control. Johnny Nelson delivered brutal honesty. He believes Eubank may have reached his ceiling, while Conor still has layers of potential yet to be unlocked. But Nelson also warned that overthinking could be Conor's downfall. If he becomes too strategic...
First fight, Dave. What went wrong for AJ, or what went right for you, Sid?
I think it was more what went wrong for Joshua than what went right for you.
Strategic, too calculated. He risks giving Eubank the time and space to dictate distance and control the fight. To Nelson, this rematch is as much a mental battle as a physical one. A chess match where one moment of hesitation could decide the night. Eddie Hearn echoed the high stakes for Eubank, blunt as ever. Bringing in Bomac is a sign of urgency, not luxury. Hearn made it clear, if Eubank doesn't improve, if he loses to Conor Benn again, his credibility at the elite level evaporates. This fight is do or die for Chris Eubank Jr.
Not the same size. Rehydration clauses should not be a thing in boxing. I know IBF have a £10 morning after ruling, but it's just not safe. The term rehydration clause just don't sound safe. Rehydration clause, just don't agree with it. Eubank's been up at super middleweight, and now they're going to drag him down to near light middleweight. I don't like it.
Jr.'s reputation, and the entire British boxing scene knows it. Former world champion Duke McKenzie offered unwavering support for Eubank. He'd be shocked, he said, if Eubank lost. Not because of hype, but because of psychology and physicality. Eubank brings size, experience, and composure into the ring. Against a naturally smaller opponent like Benn, Duke believes Eubank begins with an advantage. For Conor, the challenge is closing that gap with precision, grit, and tactical discipline. Veteran commentator Adam Smith called this fight a career crossroads for Eubank Jr. win, and he's back in the world title conversation. Lose, and he tumbles down an uncertain path. Smith also highlighted Conor Benn's rising self-belief. Their first fight changed
for about 20 years. Yeah, but if I'm a real murder people, don't like to brag about it. He don't brag.
Standing up to Eubank's power gave Conor confidence that he belongs on this stage. To him, this rematch isn't just about settling a rivalry, it's about proving his evolution. This rematch isn't just about a rivalry being settled. It's about generational momentum, clashing with long-standing legacy. Duke McKenzie, reflecting on their first showdown, described it as one of the most electrifying atmospheres in modern British boxing.
Conor is a far better fighter than Chris Eubank Jr is a boxer.
Technically, yeah.
And that's the problem that Chris Eubank Jr is having. He's got this thing in his mind. He's a masterful boxer. No, you're not.
No.
I'm sorry, no, you're not.
And he wasn't talking only about the punches. He meant the history, the energy, the weight of two surnames etched into the sport's folklore. Yet McKenzie wasn't convinced the rematch could reach that same electric magic. Nights like that are rare, and they rarely happen twice. Still, he admitted that if both fighters bring the same hunger and fire, this sequel could elevate the Benn Eubank saga into one of the great British trilogies. Simon Jordan, however, cut through the noise with icy cynicism. Where others praised legacy and family pride, he questioned whether the hype was genuine or manufactured. He didn't deny the excitement, but he challenged the motives behind it. To Jordan, this wasn't purely about two bloodlines colliding. It was about promoters crafting storylines to inflate ticket sales and pay-per-view buys.
So I think he'll get a lot more people wanting to tune into that fight, and obviously we're going to win the next fight. And but yeah, looking forward to it. Looking forward to getting Conor Benn ready to fight, and it's going to be historic.
His blunt honesty struck a chord with fans exhausted by theatrics, overshadowing pure sporting merit. Dave Allen pulled the conversation back to something often buried beneath the spectacle: fighter safety. He slammed the idea of rehydration clauses, calling them dangerous and unfair, especially for a natural super middleweight like Eubank, who would be forced to shrink his body and limit recovery after the weigh-in. Allen didn't hold back. To him, these conditions are unsafe and irresponsible. His words sliced through the promotional buildup like a warning siren, reminding everyone of the brutal reality behind the bright lights. Then came Derek Chisora, offering a chilling assessment of Eubank Jr.'s power and precision in sparring. According to Chisora, Eubank doesn't simply
won it. The rematch is going to be interesting, I think. He's now realised that I can hurt that fighter. I've felt the other fighter's power. Next time, I know what's coming. I think he might even do better in the next one. I think he's got a shout to win it.
And Eubank's older.
I get these fights, but you do want to see Ben, can you kick on to try and win her?
Throw shots. He unleashes full-speed combinations with accuracy, timing, and venom. Those sparring sessions revealed rhythm and discipline many critics claim Eubank lacks. Chisora painted a very different picture, a fighter who still carries the raw tools that once made him a dangerous contender. If that same controlled fury appears in the ring, Conor Benn might be facing a technical onslaught, not a reckless brawl. Tony Bellew, never one to sugarcoat anything, delivered a brutal evaluation of Eubank Jr. He argued that Eubank isn't as slick or technical as he believes, and credited Conor Benn as the faster, sharper, cleaner, more fundamentally sound fighter. Bellew insisted it wasn't disrespect, just reality. If Eubank enters the rematch assuming superiority instead of preparing to outwork Benn, that arrogance could destroy him. Boxing isn't just about toughness. It's about evolution, and in Bellow's eyes, Benn may have evolved more since their first clash. Tony Sims added another layer of conviction from Benn's camp. Sims doesn't speak like a promoter trying to sell hype. He speaks like a general delivering a battle plan. When he says, "We're going to win the next fight," there's no hesitation. He believes deeply in Conor's growth and the adjustments they've made. To Sims, this rivalry is generational, almost biblical in British boxing. And this chapter, he believes, is about Benn reclaiming pride. History may be repeating itself, but this time, Sims sees it ending in Conor's favor. Adi Oladipo tied everything together with blunt clarity. The first fight favored the bigger man, but this rematch is different. Both fighters now know each other's power, timing, and limits. Conor tasted Eubank's shots and didn't fold. Eubank learned Benn isn't just a smaller brawler, he's a legitimate threat. Oladipo highlighted the mental warfare too. Youth and hunger on Benn's side, size and experience on Eubank's. But the loudest ticking belongs to time, And it's running out faster for Eubank. This rematch goes beyond boxing. It's theater, it's legacy, it's family pride carved into fists and footwork. It's the rebirth of British boxing's fiercest rivalry. From Nigel Benn's fire to Tony Sims's unwavering belief. From Eubank Jr.'s reinvention to the analysts offering split predictions. Everyone agrees on one thing. This fight carries the kind of pressure that can either break a man or turn him into a legend. Both fighters have evolved. Conor Benn's aggression is sharper. Chris Eubank Jr.'s